Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. You are watching Nub's Collection, a YouTube series dedicated to the cataloging and review of every game in my physical media collection. As always, I am your host, Victory Nub, and today we are looking at Super Mario World. Developed by Nintendo's Entertainment Analysis and Development Division, shortened to EAD in some of the information I've read about the group, and published, of course, by Nintendo, and released in the United States on August 23rd of 1991. Now, of course, if you know anything about the Super Nintendo, that is the day that the Super Nintendo actually launched, I believe, in the United States. In Japan, I think they might have had about 6 months lead time, for the release of the system. This is one of about 5 games that released on the Super Nintendo at launch. In addition to this game, SimCity, F-Zero, Gradius 3, and there's one more that I am blanking on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I got a page up here. The release was for... Oh, of course, Pilot Wings. Of those games, the ones that I know that I've played definitively would include F-Zero, SimCity, which I have a copy of, and Gradius 3, which, interesting enough, I had owned at some point, and I can't figure out what I did with my copy of the game, so we're probably going to have to try to find another one, and we might have to circle back to that. As with most episodes of Nub's Collection, we do these in release order, so Gradius 3 would probably be one of the next 2 episodes that we would look at, but unfortunately, since I don't have a working copy with me, we'll just have to come back to it at a later time. Super Mario World was a very dramatic expansion on the kind of gameplay that was possible in a Mario game. We'll see some of that as we play into the game today. In addition to playing just like Mario 1 and Mario 3, where you can step on enemies, as you can see in the demo video here, to defeat them. Turtles actually came out of their shells, which was a big difference. They give you a spin attack where you can actually make Mario kind of spin in a circle, and it allows you to step on enemies that normally would damage him if he actually jumped on them. They expanded the ability to fly in this game. In Super Mario 3, you had a raccoon tail that would allow you limited flight. In this game, you get a cape, and when you use the cape in this game, you can actually luft, I'm not sure what you would call it, like just kind of flap the cape to give yourself a small boost. And if you do the timing on it correctly, you could literally fly through the entire stage without touching the ground. I don't know if I'm that good at it. We would probably find that I would either run into walls or do some other silly things. It is possible to actually change direction as well while you're doing the flying with the cape in this game. I don't know if I'm that good. This has always been one of those games that I know there were a lot of very cool tricks you could do, and I was never any good at any of them. Anyway, let's go ahead and do the story setup for the game today. The story section is simply called Story, and there's quite a bit of detail in there, but let's go ahead and get started on it. I already screwed up. All right, take 2. After saving the Mushroom Kingdom for Bowser and the rest of the Koopas in Super Mario 3, Mario and Luigi needed to recuperate from their adventures. Together, they agreed that the best place to vacation was a magical place called Dinosaur Land. Why on earth would anyone think the best place to go vacation after risking your life to save someone is a place where there's carnivorous beasts that could eat you? Not great thinking on their part. But while Mario and Luigi reclined on the beach for a relaxing nap, Princess Toadstool disappeared, apparently seized by evil forces. After searching for hours for their missing friend, Mario and Luigi came upon an enormous egg in the forest. Suddenly the egg hatched, and out popped a young dinosaur named Yoshi. How did they know what the name of the dinosaur was if it had just hatched? Interesting. Who proceeded to tell Mario and Luigi a sad tale of how his dinosaur pals were sealed in similar eggs by a group of monstrous turtles. "Monstrous turtles!" exclaimed Luigi. "Bowser and his punch have returned." I don't know if I could do a better Luigi voice. Mario. Mario slowly nodded his head, because he never talks, in agreement, and, along with Luigi and Yoshi, set off across Dinosaur Land to find the princess and to free Yoshi's friends. As they began their journey, Yoshi handed Mario a beautiful cape.
This may help you,
Yoshi said.
Some say it has magical powers. Yoshi!
Okay, I added the Yoshi at the end there. With a little luck and help from a magic cape, our hardy crew can defeat the 7 worlds of Bowser's crazy Koopa critters. There are 3 Ks in a row there for those names. Maybe they should have rethought that one. Many locations are well hidden, so explore everywhere and try everything. Not all locations have to be explored to rescue the dinosaurs and save Princess Toadstool, but there are many starry, in quotes, treasures to be found in far-reaching places. You'll need to search all areas to find out what kinds of treasures there are. ... in Super Mario World. And credits. Interesting that at this point in time, Princess Toadstool is still referred to as Toadstool instead of Peach. I think it was actually Super Mario 64 where they first referred to her by the name Peach, and then every release after that, she was just known as Princess Peach. I don't know what the change was there, if it was just a translation error or they were trying to move away from the mushroom origin of the character. I don't get that. But I would say that they did decide at this point, at least in the art and the instruction manual, that she was just going to be straight up blonde. And if you remember the character model from Super Mario 1, 2, and 3, she was very much a brunette in those games, or a very, very dirty blonde. And in this case, she's very, very much blonde. Anyway, like that matters. Let's get started. Go ahead and do an empty save file. I had a couple of those in there that already had some data, and I just went ahead and cleared the one with the least progress. Does that matter? No, I don't think I'm ever going to come back to this after we play it today. If I'm being perfectly honest, this is not my favorite Super Mario game. Welcome. This is Dinosaur Land. In this strange land, we find that Princess Toadstool is missing again. Looks like Bowser is at it again. I do note that they call him Bowser as opposed to King Koopa, which I think is the original name from Super Mario 1. Don't think it carried over into the 3rd game. Alright, so I have to go up this way in order to get to the switch. You have to hit a P switch or a big POW block to advance in certain parts of the game. Whoa! Okay, big bullet. I forgot that thing was there this early. Putting you on point. Another big change in this game over the predecessor, Super Mario 3, you can actually collect 2 power-ups and switch them at will. So that blue box at the top of the screen there is where, of course, you would store the second power-up. And then I think you just hit select to make it drop out at any time. Yep, that's it. And I think if you have a more powerful power-up, like a fire flower or the cape, you actually... Oh, come on. There it goes. You actually can't switch back to just a super mushroom. You have to choose the stronger one no matter what. There we go. So that was the spin move. You can break blocks so that you can also damage those piranha plants if you want to. They added halfway points. That's what this is. You can actually come back to the level if you die at that midway point to finish. Point of advice. You can hold an extra item in the box at the top of the screen. All right, yeah. All right. Oh, come on. I don't want to die this early. I don't think it plays... Okay! Personal opinion on this one, but I don't think it plays nearly as smooth as the gameplay in Super Mario 3. Just my opinion on that. So those little outline blocks there are where the P-switch would come into play. If you pop the P-switch, every block in the yellow dotted outline there in the entire game will become filled with a yellow exclamation block. I saw that one coming. Oop. So some fun facts about the Super Nintendo, since this is the first quote-unquote official game that we're going to be looking at as part of Nub's collection that's not tied to a holiday special or any other special event that we were doing. Oop. Number one, this is the first console that actually had like full stereo sound. You may or may not get that in the video here. I'm not sure how exactly the audio gets encoded when I'm doing editing on it, but I think it comes out stereo. Second, the color palette was obviously very widely expanded from the Nintendo. I believe the Nintendo could only hold about 16 or use 16 colors on screen at a time. Might have actually only been 8, but in any case, the Super Nintendo pretty widely expanded and became a 256 color palette console. Oh, okay, I was right. I thought there might be something here. Cool. Get an extra life. Yeah, get another one. Get another one. Get another one. Get another one. Oh, I got 3. All right, cool. This console, believe it or not, actually came out at some point with an online modem that you can play called the X-Play. How many games actually made use of the X-Play? I have no idea. It may not have been any. I think it was too early in the existence of consoles with the capability of going online to actually include any kind of gameplay. Would have been nice if I could have done, say, Secret of Mana, but I have no idea. It may have just been an early browser that you could put on a console. Interestingly enough, in Japan, they actually called it Nintendo Power, which is the name of the magazine, in America at least. I can't remember what it was called in Japan. Oh, Famitsu. Oh, I didn't get a 1-up. Obviously, the best-selling game on the system would be Super Mario World, because this was, in fact, a pack-in game with the system. Hooray! Thank you for rescuing me. My name is Yoshi. On my way to rescue my friends, Bowser trapped me in that egg. Yoink! And this is another one of the big changes to this game, is you can get a mount that you could ride. He can eat enemies and turn them into projectiles or weapons, depending on what you eat. If it's a turtle, their shell usually provides some kind of power-up if it's a color other than green. Otherwise, he just spits it back out. Did I just cheat the game? I think I just cheated the game there. I ate. You can't eat creatures this big, unfortunately, so the only thing you can do there is stomp it. I believe if you get 5 of the Yoshi coins or dinosaur coins, whatever they were called, you actually get a 1-up. I can't remember for certain. Oh, come on. Get back here. Now, Yoshi could do a lot of things. He can walk on enemies that normally Mario could not walk on. One thing he cannot do is he cannot climb. So the only way to climb this is to get off. I don't know if he remains in place if you go too far away. I think he does. Gotcha. So, as I was saying before, I got kind of distracted there. While the pack-in game Super Mario World, I could speak, was the best-selling game on the console, I don't know if I ever would have been able to guess the best-selling standalone game on the Super Nintendo. I would have thought maybe Super Metroid or Link to the Past. Nintendo has a history of making a lot of really great games for their own consoles, and I would have thought that one of those might have been the bestseller. Maybe even a Final Fantasy, because they had an explosion in interest around the time of the Super Nintendo, or at least quality of the games, maybe not interest. The game that actually sold the most on the Super Nintendo that was not Super Mario World was, in fact, Street Fighter II: The World Warrior, which sold 6.3 million copies. Point of advice, the big coins are dragon coins. Or dragon coins. If you pick up 5 of these, you get an extra Mario. Okay. Oh, but you have to do it in one area. That's right, they don't carry over. Whee! Yeah, I never would have guessed that Street Fighter II had the kind of mass appeal that it did when it came out. Now, I will say that I actually get why it would have sold as strongly as it did, because it was, unlike the Sega Genesis version of the game, considered an arcade-perfect port of the game. The audio was cleaner, the graphics were smoother. Just in general, it was considered the superior of the two games. Now, that would be rather an unfair refrain about every game that came out on the Super Nintendo versus the Sega Genesis is that it was always a better version of the game if it came out on Super Nintendo because it had a wider color palette. It had a better sound processor, and that's just my personal opinion on that. I don't know if it's backed up by any actual physical logic. They did brag about the quote-unquote blast processing on the Sega Genesis, but all it really meant was games just moved really fast. But Super Nintendo, their focus was more on size of the sprites that were visible on screen and the fact that there was no flicker when they did appear. In addition to the color palette and stereo sound, yada, yada, yada. When you stomp on an enemy, you can jump high if you hold the jump button. Use up on the control pad to jump high in the shallow water. Now, I will say, and this is going to go against the game when we get to the good, the bad, and the ugly section today. I don't think this game was a good representation of the sound quality capable on the Super Nintendo. It does demonstrate that there is stereo sound, which is a good thing, but I think the big detractor for me in the case of this game is there's too many chirpy sounds. I have no idea what that was supposed to do. I think if you get there within a certain amount of time, it actually becomes a 1-up, but I'm taking my time playing this. So the stars that you get at the end of the level, if you hit that little tape that moves up and down the post, if you get 100 of them, I believe it gives you an extra life. So they give you lots of different opportunities to earn lives in this game. Big minus for this game versus the previous game, Super Mario 3, is there is no inventory. So you can't collect items and then use them on the main menu like you could in 3. If you have no power-ups when you enter stage, you just got to find them and make do. Now, interesting thought here. I always thought when he walks around on the main map here, I always thought Mario was wrapping his hands around Yoshi's eyeballs. Look at that. It looks like he's grabbing his eyelids and yanking them back. Gonna close your eyes while you're walking on me, are you? Yeah! Rips the eyeballs open. All right, let's keep moving. Pop. So if you grab a lesser power-up with one in the tank, it actually does overwrite the one that you had. What I would like to do, and I haven't found one yet, is get a cape so we can demonstrate some of the tricks you can do with that. All right. Oh, well, there goes that. That's what I wanted to do. All right, move, 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 move. No! Oh, never mind the dragon coin, just keep moving. I believe Yoshi can. Yep, he can step on the spike balls in the water. I'm gonna have to move the boom arm on my mic here because it's kind of blocking my view of the bottom of the screen. Just while moving. All right, that's a little bit better. All right, well, what does this one say? You get bonus stars if you cut the tape at the end of each area. You collect 100 stars, you can play a fun bonus game. That's right. And this is the one that kind of plays, if I recall correctly, like the memory house or the memory card game from Super Mario 3, where you had to pick matching cards from a stack of whatever it was, 18. All right, we made it to the first castle. Once again, we are fighting the Koopa kids, or Koopalings, I think is what they're referred to in Super Mario 3. I don't like you have to leave Yoshi behind. Now, I did say I don't love the sound on this console. I will say that Athletic Theme, which was the song that was playing in the previous area, is one of the best. Press up on the control pad while jumping, and you can cling to the fence to go in the door at the end of the area. Use up also. So the cool thing is enemies will actually stand on the back side of the fence as well, or climb around on the back side of the fence, and you can punch them to knock them off. Yeah, so this guy right here is gonna get popped. Fortunately, this also means you can't shoot fireballs while you're on the fence here. Get to him before he... Yeah, there we go. Oh. Alright. No. And I don't know if these turn or not when you drop on the P-switch. They do. Look at that. Pop. Pop. And of course, you can actually flip on the back side of the panel as well. As soon as you jump on the back side of it, you actually come back onto the front side. So it's not useful if you're trying to stay on one side and you jump. Bump. Whee! Bump. Point of advice. One of Yoshi's friends is trapped in the castle by Iggy Koopa. To defeat him, push him into the lava. So the nice thing about this, the bosses in this game, is that each of them has a unique gimmick that you want to exploit. Big pillar. Duck. Wow, 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 wow. Still no cape. Big pillar. This is risky. There, we're good. Now, in this case, you have to knock Iggy into the lava. You could do it by stomping. You can also use fireballs, but it only works in the direction that the thing is tilted. So we don't want to do it until it goes back this way. Oh! Got him. Whew. Now, I would say that even though I don't love the soundtrack on this one, and I do love athletic theme, they do make good use of the audio samples that were available with the sound processor. There are going to be some games that we're going to look at that don't do such a great job with that, that actually make maybe a little bit too heavy a use of the artificial instrument sounds, like the bass sounds, the drums, the bad guitar sounds. I should be reading here. Mario has defeated the demented Iggy Koopa in Castle Number 1 and rescued Yoshi's friend, who is still trapped in an egg. Together, they now travel to Donut Land. Hooray, we finished the first world. I think what we'll try to do is we'll try to get to the second one today and probably call it there. Oh, we want to stomp on him. Or not with that. Okay, try to. Oh, I didn't get him. Okay. So we want to get one that has a flashing cape because they will have... they will have the feather that I'm looking for. Oh no, did I screw this up? I can't jump down. Oh, Yoshi's stuck there. Ah, well. Oh, almost ate it. I love that this particular Koopa enemy, whatever he is thrown. Oh, no, no, no. Go back. Go after him. Get it. Yeah. Yoink. All right, now we get to fly. So what he does is he does that, and then when you pull up, he'll actually, like I said before, kind of luft his cape so that he can fly. And then if you land on the ground, he'll actually like do a belly slide. If you press down, he'll actually do a slam attack, which I think kills enemies if you hit them with it. And then one of the fun things about this is you can actually, if I'm not mistaken, we'll give it a shot, see how well this goes. Probably poorly. I gotta get some speed. Oh, I think I have to hit a wall for it to work, but you normally, I believe, would be able to... Oh, cool. There you go. If you slide into an enemy, it kills them. Whee! I think that was just a one-up because there's already a Yoshi on the game map, so they don't want to give me a second one. Which stinks. There we go. Whoa! Ah, you jerk. Okay, don't touch... There we go. 4. So here's another example of some blocks that we can't climb just yet. That little triangle thing, if we came back and ran at speed at it, you would actually be able to climb the wall. The red dot areas on the map have 2 different exits. If you have the time and skill, be sure to look for them. So what that means, and we'll go ahead and duck here. If this wall was complete and I could actually climb it, there is a second exit for the map that we would be able to access. And... Ah, cool, got a full 50. Also, if there are enemies on the screen when you cross the tape, I believe you get an extra life for each one. Alright, okay, so that's what this one is. Yeah. So you want to try to get as many in a row as you can because they will actually give you items, I believe, for each one that you match 3 in a row on. Oh, just 1-ups. That's right. So if we had gotten all mushrooms, I would have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7 or 8, something like that. So that's the red dot that they're talking about, is the dot right here. And then this one also has a second exit, and I believe it goes into the lake. Nice thing about this game, and they showed it early on when we got to the P-switch area, or the, whatever it is, the color switch area. There is a save function in this game. Mario 3, if there was one thing you could say it erred on in the design of the game, it's a very big game that takes many, many hours to finish completely, but there is no way to save your progress. No password, no save, nothing. This game, I think they realized they made it very big, and there are a lot of different exits that you can take, so they decided that they wanted to make sure you had the ability to come back to it at your own leisure. Oh, come on. I got screwed by that enemy. I don't know if any of those are pipes you can go up. I would assume the green one, if any. Whew. I don't think the design on those bats is very good. Uh-oh. I got screwed! You know, in my head, I was just thinking a second ago, boy, wouldn't it be cool if I could make it through an entire playthrough of this game without dying once, at least for the episode, and then I died. Alright, get the one, the extra power-up. Not a 1-up. I don't know if any of them have 1-ups. Not the exclamation blocks. Ooh. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to put it down, I don't think. Well, I guess I could do that. But he also got up, so. Nice thing is you can whip the cape just like you did the raccoon tail, and use that to bash enemies. If you're one of those people that plays this game extremely well and is super skilled at all the cool tricks you can do in this game, I'm sure there are people out there who would be able to fly through this entire area without touching the ground once. Yeah, I'm not that good. Yeah, these those bats, really bad design. Look at that. It's just a mess of green and red pixels, and there's not a lot of detail to them. Most of the enemies in this game are very detailed. I think this is the exit. Yeah, because, well, maybe. Maybe not. Oh, I remember what it is. So what we would need to do, in the blue shell here is the giveaway. If I had Yoshi, I would be able to feed that shell to him, and he would be able to fly. Unfortunately, I don't have Yoshi, so we won't be able to take that exit. Not a big deal. Again, I'm not 100% certain where it goes. This may be the first Star World path that you could take, because there's a secret world that you can get to by taking certain alternative paths, and what they do is they lead you to a special star map, and once you complete enough of the star map, you enter another secret world called the Special World, where there are like 8 levels inside that, and those are all really hard but really fun maps to play. This is a ghost house. Can you find the exit? Hee hee hee. Don't get lost. This is another example of them trying to play with some interesting ideas, usually having to do with the layers of mapping that they put in here. All right, so I want to pop that. Oh, I can't. Okay, well, go this way. Ah, bingo. Pop that. And I think I take it with me, or not. All right, go back to this. Ah, bingo. Pop. Okay. That didn't go anywhere. I think you're supposed to create a path with the blocks there. And then once the timer runs out, you'll actually have to climb it. If I seem a little bit rusty on the levels in this game, it's because this is one of the games that I gave to my mother before I left for college, and... Huh, okay. Not sure what I'm supposed to do then. Yeah, this is one of the games that I ended up giving to my mother from the collection of Super Nintendo games that I had, and I don't remember what I'm supposed to do. Wow, I have no idea. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm at a loss. I don't know. They stumped me. Maybe if I go in the door after I hit the switch, I can advance. Only one way to find out. Ow, I got hit. I'm gonna hit it again. Nope. Oh, well, there we go. Look at that. Now, whoa! Just want to take a second here to acknowledge that Mario's got some butt on him. Look at that. When he climbs that that piranha plant. All right, cool, they're gone. Look at that ass. All right, there we go. We made it. I missed. I think we talked about this in the Super Mario Brothers 1 episode of Nub's Collection. I like to think in my mind that while he wouldn't outright say it, Shigeru Miyamoto actually designed most of the power-ups in these games after very specific drugs. Obviously, mushrooms would be shrooms, because you imagine that you're much, much bigger than you actually are when you're on shrooms, I guess. In the case of fire flowers... Oh, look at this! He caught it! In the case of fire flowers, you're talking heroin, because you're shooting fire like a dragon, and when you do heroin, you are quote-unquote chasing the dragon. In the case of superstars, or whatever they are, invincibility stars, you're talking possibly either LSD, because you start seeing flashing colors on your body, or maybe even PCB, because you imagine that you're invincible. You can slide the screen left or right with the L or R buttons on top of the controller. You may be able to see further ahead, which they're telling you, obviously, because they think you should see what's ahead before you do this, because you have to jump onto that second track there. Pop. Very good. And in the case of Super Mario Brothers 3, I missed the thing! I'm dead. In the case of Super Mario Brothers 3, they introduced the leaf that turns you into a raccoon. I would imagine that is some form of marijuana, because you're basically imagining that you've become some kind of cat, and you look like you have ears taped on your head like some kind of bad Instagram filter. Sounds like this kind of thing you would do while you were stoned. Now, in the case of the feather in this game, I don't know what that would be. Maybe it's a very poor example of cocaine, because when you're on cocaine, you get so high you think you can fly. ... Not sure on that one. Maybe this was his first genuine attempt to get away from all the drug talk in his video games. Get it. Whoa! That almost hit me. All right, guys. Get moving. Glad you can jump through the block there. Okay, so those have something in them. At least one of them does. Oh, I got a little bit too risky there. Okay. Pop. Get rid of it. So this is the athletic theme that I referenced earlier. I do think this is one of the better songs on the album. Has very much a ragtime quality to it. Oh, gotcha. All right, there we go. Oh, no! And I missed it. Figures on the second set of ledges. Oh, almost fell off. The second set of those platforms, they made it so that you would have some backup if you fell. So what this is if you pick the right one out of each of these sets of 3, you actually get a 1-up. Nope. Oh, got 1. Oh, you have to hit all 3. That's right, yeah. Nope. Nope. Maybe. I got it. 1-up. We're doing all right. Whoa! Those stupid buzzy guys. All right, so no power up there. Well, yeah, I don't know what the limit is on that. I would imagine it's within 100 seconds of the timer before you get the power up, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Oh, look at that. The line could have literally just gone straight to the castle. They had to jam one more level in. I will say that the map in this game is seemingly early on much, much smaller than Super Mario 3, where every single world of the 8 that you went to had like 7 or 8 levels each, including forts that you would go to that were not the... I can't believe it did that. Including the forts that were not the big boss levels. In this game, it seems like they decided to tighten things up, have fewer maps, but maybe make each of them a little bit bigger. Up. Oh, you're not getting this. I think it's interesting that they decided to go with different colors of pipe. I don't know if it makes a difference. That one did. Uh-oh. Come on. Oh, skinny pipe. I had to land it. Come on. You know I had to land it. If I didn't land it, I don't know if I could call myself a gamer. Whoa! Oh, look at that! That was the swaggiest landing of all time. That was like, I literally put the tip of my toe on that pipe. Whoa! Pop! And, there we go. So there's an example of what that triangle does. Whee! How does that make sense? I don't know. Video games. Cool. Got a 1-up. Now, I don't know if... well, I could probably go underneath, right? Yeah, here we go. There's got to be a mushroom in one of these. Of course. Oh, no! I should have just gone through the block after I popped it. I was being an idiot. All right, we're going to skip the pipe this time and just keep right on going because I want to get to that second boss. Yep. Help! Oh, get out of here. Now that was an interesting combination. Pop. Now the cool thing is, since I lost the turtle inside, this thing isn't going to try to wake up on me. But uncool, can't keep it if I'm going up this. Probably could have just popped on the platform, but whatever. All right, let's get that extra power up this time without botching. There we go. I gave you a spin move, and I don't use it very often simply because it's on the A button, and the A button is not in a position that's comfortable on my hand. Ah, crap. All right, pop them. There we go. I don't think these guys are quite as difficult as they were in the first 2 games that had them. I say first 2 games because really the second game in the series didn't actually have any Hammer Bros in it. Pop. Pop. I want something else. Oh! Hadn't gotten one of these yet. I think this one actually lasts... Yeah, this is a lot closer to the... I just died. This one's a lot closer to the length of time that you actually got from the original Super Mario Brothers instead of 3, where they shortened it by, I want to say half. It was really short in that game. Alright, let's see if I can get a 1-up by eating these guys. I think you eat 5 and it gives you an extra, or if it's not an extra life, it's some kind of power-up. Oh, I'm gonna botch it. There we go. Got it? Oh, maybe not. Maybe he just keeps eating him. Maybe I'm thinking of the fruits. Boy, they give you a lot of Goombas to finish this level. They're not falling for that twice. Oh, dodge. There's a clutch dodge. Oh, I should try flying with this. You can't do the floating trick with Yoshi while you have the cape, but you can still fly for a limited ways before he starts descending. I would say that the cape is probably the least creative of all the powers that he's ever gotten. I mean, even the super mushroom, which is making you just huge, is a more interesting power-up than just put a cape on him and he can fly. I mean, if you look back and think about it, in Super Mario 3, you got the ability to fly by eating a leaf that turned you into a raccoon. Oh! You pick up a certain type of flower, you can shoot fireballs out of your fingertips. Those are all interesting powers. Even when you start getting to the weirder stuff in some of the later games, like when you can turn into a cat, or use that, well, I guess it's not really a power-up, but using the water pack from Super Mario Sunshine. Turning into a metal version of yourself that is super heavy, but also indestructible. Which is the Super Mario 64, one of the ones that you get in that game. Those are all more interesting to me than a cape. I shouldn't have done that. There we go. Get out of here. I do like that the dry bones in this game you can actually defeat permanently without having to do anything super stupid. I mean, they still do the same thing in this game that they would in Super Mario 3, where if you just stepped on them, they would actually get back up eventually. Whee! Let's go! See? And look at that. I don't think that was an option in Super Mario 3. Stay right here. Don't want to get crushed. Get out of here. Oh! Well, I guess it would be worth mentioning, and I don't think I had said anything about this yet. This is one of the first 2 games that I got with the Super Nintendo when I first bought it. And in fact, the other game is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which, if you know anything about the release date of that one, did not come out on launch, obviously, because I mentioned earlier which ones did. And that means that I didn't get the console at launch. I got it, I think, the day that the Link to the Past game came out, so that would have been in August of '92. Oh, come on. I need to get him in the middle of the screen so I can stomp him. Oh, I missed! Alright, come on. Right here. Gotcha! Whoa, 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 whoa. That is a very early example of the Mode 7 effect that they implemented with the Super Nintendo, where basically there was a 2D plane that they could actually rotate and tip on a 3D axis so that you could use it to simulate motion, 3D motion. And that is one of the primary modes of traversal in F-Zero. They use it in Chrono Trigger and what other game? Final Fantasy III, moving around on the overworld map. That was definitely a Mode 7 effect. Yeah, there was quite a few games that made use of it. I think Pilot Wings was also a very heavy Mode 7 effect. Martin Koopa Jr. of Castle Number 2 is now just a memory. The next area is the underground Vanilla Dome. What traps await Mario in this new world? What will become of Princess Toadstool? And we're going to have to find out some other time. All right, that is going to do it for gameplay. Let's go ahead and move into the review phase. Well, actually, we'll do the good and the bad and the ugly first. The good is I do think that this game introduces enough unique aspects of the traditional platforming gameplay that was part of Super Mario 1 and 3, and to a lesser extent 2, that it does feel fresh. Giving you the ability to not just fly like you did with the tail from 3, but also to control that flight in a more dramatic fashion. You can actually stay afloat by flapping your cape. You can actually dive bomb with it to do damage. I killed an enemy by sliding into them with it. Again, I don't know exactly how it works, but you can actually make it so that your character turns around and goes back in the other direction if you do a spin while you're flying, but I don't remember exactly how that works. Grabbing items and flying actually has some unique tricks to it that I couldn't recreate if I wanted to. This game gives you the ability to stack multiple items to pick up at the same time if you place them on the exact same plane when you clip them with Mario's body while trying to pick them up. Yoshi adds an element of traversal that was hard to obtain in the third game. When you're in Yoshi, you can walk on spikes and you can stomp piranha plants. And the only other item that you could do that with in Super Mario 3 was Kurabu's shoe, and you could only get that in exactly one level. They give you a save option in this game, which is a huge upgrade from Super Mario 3, because now you don't have to try to beat it all in one sitting, which even with the flutes is still an undertaking, because that last world, World 8, can be very difficult if you don't have some extra power-ups. In the case of this game, while they don't give you the ability to save items, they give you the ability actually to go back to worlds that you've played before and play them again. So you are always capable of going back to a previous area that was much easier and full of opportunities for one-ups and power-ups, and just going through them a couple of times to get what you needed to continue in this game. The graphics do feel like an upgrade from the previous game. The color palette is expanded dramatically from Super Mario 3 and also just any of the games on the regular Nintendo. It looks nice. It plays good. I do think the momentum is just a tiny bit off from what it was in Super Mario 3, and I thought 3 had maybe the best momentum of any of the Mario games. Fight me if you think I'm wrong there. As far as the bad, again, I know that this was the very first game that came out on the Super Nintendo with, 4 others. I don't love the soundtrack for this game. They had one great song that I liked, and they did their best with the sound card to make it a wide example of the kinds of effects that you could use on the system. But I think everything about the game is just a little bit too chirpy, high-pitched. A little bit too muted. It would have been nice if there were some things in here that were a little bit sharp, and it was just a little bit too soft for my taste. Other than that, I like the designs of the enemies and the variety of interactions with the bosses that you get in this game, because it's not always the same thing every single time. There's not a whole lot of negative about this game. It is a very well-made game. As far as the ugly, again, it looked like some of the smaller enemies, they didn't have enough pixels to put some detail in them, like those weird green bats. In this case, it was kind of go big or go home with some of the designs of these enemies. Obviously, they had more room on each screen because of the upgraded capability of the processor in the Super Nintendo to have more pixels on each screen. But obviously not enough to cover for the fact that smaller enemies are still going to look very crude in their design. And that particular bat was just one example of it. Bigger creatures were certainly a thing that was a possibility on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, to be frank here. And this game gives you an example of some of those, like the giant bullet bill that was coming at me. The final fight against Bowser in this game is a very good example of a large enemy that has a lot of motion and animation to it. And they do use some Mode 7 with him when he flies in and out of the map. So there was a lot of strengths in regards to the use of sprites in this game if they were large. The small ones, now they look kind of bad. Let's go ahead and do a score. We do our score in Randars, 1 to 10. This is a great game. I don't think it's perfect. I'm going to give it a 9. 9 Randars. It's a very, very good game. Between this one and Super Mario 3, which I do think is the better game, I think I'd still prefer Super Mario 3 to this one. I have more fond memories of Super Mario 3 than I do this game. I played it, almost as much as any other game on the Super Nintendo, but if I'm being honest, part of the reason why I gave it to my mom was I didn't love it that much. And this was one of those games that I knew she loved and she went back to all the time. So when I moved away to college, I said, you can have this game. That's fine. We're looking at it today because unfortunately my mother did pass away and I have re-inherited this copy of the game. But yeah, I'm happy that we got a chance to look at it today. And we're going to have some other games that I inherited from her upon her passing. That'll be part of the collection. I'll just kind of mix them in with the regular Nubs collection episodes. A couple of them I don't know if I've ever played at all. We'll look at them, and if I look like I'm completely lost, it's probably because I am. But yeah, this is a great game. A very strong entry in the series. And I don't know if there's going to be a ton from here on out that we'll look at where I don't think it's one of the best games that Nintendo made. Legend of Zelda is also going to be very high in terms of scoring for the ones that we do look at up to a point. I say up to a point because eventually I did kind of age out of what Nintendo was pushing on customers. And I feel that even today. There's some games that I look at and I play and I just like, this wasn't designed for a 40-year-old man. This game isn't fun. But yeah, 9 Randars. This is a very, very good game. That's going to do it for this episode of Nubs Collection. As always, I do appreciate each of you watching, and I will see you next time.